Hello, my name is Isra, and this is my project, Eukaryotic, Prokaryotic, and Viral Microbe Presentation. So the prokaryote microbe that I chose is Chlamydia trachomatis. The structure is a gram-negative bacteria and it lacks a peptidoglycan cell wall and is coccoid or rod-shaped. It also has a cytoplasmic membrane. The disease that it causes is the chlamydia bacterial infection. And here's a little diagram of chlamydia, and here's how it looks underneath a microscope. So the life cycle of chlamydia, it has generally two stages, which is the elementary body and the reticulate body. So first the elementary body invades the host cell, as you can see here, and then onto the other stage where it is inside the cell and there's a reticulate body that's transforming inside. And then the reticulate body replicates, which is the other step over here. As you can see, there's a lot of them. And then on the next step, the reticulate body transforms to the elementary body, which is right here. And then after that, there's cell lysis. And as you can see, the elementary body is leaving the cell and on to invading other cells. And that is the life cycle of chlamydia. So the organ systems that are impacted in chlamydia are the reproductive organs in males and females. And if this microbe is left untreated, the infection, then women can develop pelvic inflammatory diseases, and it can lead to infertility. It can also lead to ectopic pregnancies as well. So, and mostly when women get this disease, they are asymptomatic, so people won't even know. Over here, there's a little diagram of a healthy reproductive system, and then a reproductive system with PID. And this is long-term exposure to this to Chlamydia trachomatis, and it leads to PID. And you can see abscess right here, which is just a lot of pus contained together, and then pus everywhere, and it's inflamed, and it is a very painful experience. So the virulence factors for this microbe is that CT135 is an important Chlamydia trachomatis virulence factor that goes under quick, rapid inactivation upon vitro passage. This microbe also lacks a peptidoglycan wall, and it has antigenic variation, which makes it, which is a virulence factor. And its ability to multiply intracellularly in the infected cell is the key mechanism of virulence. And bacteria prevents fusion of phagolysome with cellular liposomes, thereby preventing intracellular killing of bacteria by the host cell. So evading the host immune system, the way that this microbe does that is that it paralyzes the host immune system by not letting the activation of polymorphic nuclear leukocytes, and then the polymorphic nuclear leukocytes infected with chlamydia can't no longer make neutrophil extracellular traps. So then the bacteria is able to survive for a long time. So the way that the host immunity clears the pathogen is that it doesn't. So our immune system alone cannot cure chlamydia itself. The chlamydia infection is very successful in invading and even manipulating host cells for its replication. So because of their restricted parasitism inside eukaryotic cells, the pathogens have to develop multiple strategies for adaptation with the hostile intracellular environment, which is why it's so successful at doing what it does best. So treatments for this infection is an antibiotic called azithromycin, and it is a macrolide drug used to treat chlamydia. It prevents bacteria from growing by interfering with their protein synthesis. So this is a box and how it looks like. So there are no vaccines available for this specific microbe, but there are vaccines for HPV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis A, which are the other STDs, but this one does not have any. So the side effects from taking azithromycin are upset stomach, diarrhea, loose stools, nausea, vomiting, or abdominal pain. So it's just not a good situation to be in. The main reservoir is humans. They are the main host for this pathogen, and the mode of transmission is through direct sexual contact with the vagina, mouth, penis, or anus of an infected partner. This pathogen is also highly communicable to females and males. So the epidemiology of this microbe is that the risk of transmission of infection from one episode of sexual intercourse is estimated to be about like 10% to 20%, and about 75% of incident infections in women are asymptomatic. So as I was saying earlier, many women don't even know it, and they develop PID. It's just not something somebody would want to be in. Chlamydia is one of the most common bacterial sexually transmitted infections worldwide, with over 100 million men and women infected at any point in time. So this is a little diagram of chlamydia trachomatis, like chlamydia diagnosis rate per 100,000 people. So in 1990, England was at the most bottom, and Sweden here was at the most top. And then now we're in second place in 2010, and England went up to third place, along with Sweden, which is also in second place, and in first place is Denmark. And I feel like the industrialization, well, not the industrialization, but like many people traveling to England, with the population increasing over time, which is another reason why I think there's more cases there. But in Denmark, that's very surprising. I know in Denmark they have very low population, so that's very interesting. So my other microbe for virus is the human papillomavirus, and the structure for this microbe is non-enveloped, and it infects mucosal cells. It is a circular double-stranded viral genome, and it has an isocossyndryl capsid, and the capsid contains two structural proteins, which is L1 and L2. And the disease that it causes is the human papillomavirus infection. So this is what the infection, the microbe looks like, with the DNA and the capsid protein and the capsid itself. So that's what it shows. The viral replication cycle is that it takes 6 early genes to take control of the early viral life cycle, and 2 late genes to encode major L1 and minor L2 capsid proteins. And this is a little diagram of the cycle itself. So L1 and L2, which is the early stage, and then the late genes that encode it, and then these are the early stages. So the organ systems that are impacted are the reproductive organs in the males and females. And if it's left untreated, it can cause various cancers, including cervical cancers and the cancers of the vagina, penis, anus, vulva. The virulence factor for this microbe is that the virulence factors include proteins E6 and E7, which is of high risk of serotypes of HPV. And these proteins have been shown to inactivate the host's tumor suppressor proteins, which is P53 and RB. And the inactivation of tumor suppressor proteins results in the host cells dividing at rate that cannot be regulated, and it is cancerous. So that's why it can cause cancer. So evading the host immune system, the host cell entry of the HPV is initiated by binding of the virus particle to the cell surface receptors. The HPV can invade host immune responses first. HPV does not kill host cells during viral replication, and therefore neither presents viral antigen nor induces inflammation. So how the host immunity clears the pathogen is that the immune system uses innate and adaptive immunity to recognize and combat foreign agents that invade the body, but these methods are sometimes ineffective against human papillomavirus. So our immune system itself cannot always destroy this microbe. The treatments that are used is Condylox, or also called Podophylox, and is a medication to treat HPV. It belongs to the keratolytic agent drug class, and the administration of route is topical. Condylox is an antibiotic drug, and it is used to treat warts, which is what causes the microbe causes genital warts. So the vaccine, there is a vaccine for this microbe, and it's called the HPV vaccine, and the preparation type is Gardasil. This is a little picture of the vaccine. So side effects from the vaccine is pain, redness, and swelling, and then for the treatment, the side effects are burning, swelling, and itching. The main reservoir for this microbe is humans. The mode of transmission is through direct sexual contact with the vagina, mouth, penis, or anus of an infected partner, and this pathogen is also very highly communicable to females and males. The epidemiology is that genital HPV is the most common sexually transmitted infection in the U.S., and there is no temporal pattern. And on the basis of health claims data in the United States, the incidence of anogenital warts in 2004 was 1.2 per 1,000 females and 1.1 per 1,000 males. During 2003 and 2010, reductions in anogenital wart prevalence were observed among U.S. females aged 15 through 24 years, the group most likely to be affected by the introduction of HPV vaccine. So later it reduced from the vaccine. So this is the eukaryotic microbe that I chose, which is the Epidermophyton flaccosum. I hope that's how you pronounce it. The structure is club-shaped, spindle-shaped, or pencil-shaped. They are slow-growing and greenish or brownish in color and thin-walled macroconidia and are made in clusters. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's thin-walled. They can come in all different shapes, spindle-shaped. So the disease that it causes is like various diseases actually. Tinea pedis, which is athlete's foot, Tinea unguium, Tinea corporis, Tinea cruris, and Tinea manum. So the life cycle of this microbe is that it can be viable for a very long time of producing atherocondia in the skin, and these cells produce large amounts of tau protein, and it has two phases, which is the anamorph state and the telomorph state. The organ systems that are impacted are the skin as well as the nails, and the virulence factors are the ability to invade keratinized tissues and the possession of several enzymes such as acid proteinases, elastase, keratonesis, and other proteinases that are major virulence factors of this fungi. So how the host immunity clears this pathogen is that when this fungi infects its humans, it does not go on its own, thus our immune system cannot clear out this pathogen. So we need the treatment, which is called it's called terbinafine, and is used as an antifungal medication. So there are no vaccines for this microbe, but the side effects for the treatment are rash, headache, and diarrhea. The reservoir, which is the host, is humans primarily, and the mode of transmission is direct or indirect contact with scalp or skin lesions of infected people. So this is the primary host is humans, but I know it could also infect animals. But yeah. The epidemiology of this microbe is that the pathogen occurs worldwide, and like the infections are frequent. In Tinea cruris, men are more susceptible than women, and commonly Tinea cruris is associated with Tinea pedis, which is caused by this microbe when ambient temperatures or humidity are high. So there's an example, Tinea pedis has afflicted humanity for centuries. The first report of Tinea pedis was in 1908 by Whitfield, who with Saburad believed that the Tinea pedis was a very rare infection caused by the same organism that produced Tinea captis, which they were right. And these are my references for my